What's up, everyone? It's Colin from Aaron's Technology Blog. This is our Honor 6 review. The Honor 6 is a new kind of budget but very premium smartphone from Huawei. And it's going to retail at about, well, it is retailing at about £250 sterling. So, you're getting a lot of specifications and a lot of power for very little money. So we did do an unboxing before, but this is going to be the full review. So we'll just quickly take you around the device again and go through each aspect of it. So in terms of the design, it's very much in the vein of an Xperia Z3. They're very, very similar. You've got Gorilla Glass 3 on the front of the 5-inch display protecting it. And then on the back, while you might think it is glass, it's actually fake plastic. It's not glass at all. Now, over time, this is going to get prone to scratching. So I would recommend a case for that, just putting it down on the table. You're going to get little kind of scuff marks and scratch marks. But it's a very good impersonation of glass. And it's no bad thing that it's not glass, because at least if you drop it, it's not going to fracture and you're not going to get spider web cracks like you would say on the older iPhones. So it's basically all plastic all the way around. Even this side strip here, it's not real. It's not real aluminum or anything. It's just kind of fake. It doesn't follow all the way around, which is a little bit odd. I would have liked it all the way around, but they decided not to do that. So it's no big deal. On this side, you've got your volume rockers and power, and you've also got your ports here for micro SD and SIM card. On the bottom, you've got your charging port and just mic there as well. On the back, you've got your speaker, Honor badge. You've got your 13 megapixel camera, your dual LED flash, and then on the front again, you've got your 5 megapixel front facing camera. And even here, actually, just to point out, you can see the finger marks already. So it is a little bit of a fingerprint magnet. On top, you've got a 3.5mm jack. Again, another kind of cancellation microphone. And interestingly, an IR blaster just here. Now, I say interestingly because you can't actually use it. There's no software on the phone provided to let you use that IR blaster. So hopefully that's something that Huawei will fix in a future update. It's currently running Android 4.4.2 KitKat, but that's heavily skinned with Huawei's own Emotion UI, and we'll come to that in a moment. In terms of the screen, again, it's a 1080p screen. It's very, very nice, very vibrant, good colors. A little bit oversaturated, but nothing too much. You can tweak that in the settings and just kind of dim it down a little bit if you like. And the pixel density of this 5-inch display is 440 ppi, which is frankly massive in a phone that costs £250. So you're getting huge amount of screen density there, which is very, very good. So coming back onto the software side of things, it's running Huawei's own Emotion UI, the very same one that you'll find on the latest Ascend Mate 7. So just at your lock screen here initially, let's have a look. So you can pull up the menu at the bottom and you get access to kind of quick action menus. So you can have your torch, or it's on, or calculator, calendar, the mirror, play, pause, save, and more option here if you want to adjust these. So I have to say I really like the lock screen transition. It just kind of gradually transitions into the locks or into the home screen. Now this is the Huawei Emotion UI, so just bring you left and right. That's basically it in terms of the UI. Huawei don't have any sort of app drawer that you would associate with normal Android devices. So every device or every application, game you install will just find a place basically on the screen. So you want to be very good at keeping your your files up to date and in folders. Otherwise, it's just going to be a big mess. Now, of course, you can install a launcher, which will, alleviate that problem and give you back an app drawer if you want. But that's how it is. So, it's their Emotion UI. It's what they use on their phones. I really wish they had have used just stock Android. It would be a much bigger selling point for me. But basically everything else works just fine. You've got your pull down notification tray. You have all your shortcuts here, which you can adjust, add or take away. And again, the tab here for your notifications as well. So in terms of the performance of the device, this is using Huawei's own in-house Kirin 920 octa-core processor. And it's right up there with basically Snapdragon 801s. It's going to perform, it does perform beautifully quick. There's no slowdown. Games run perfectly and play perfectly. You can have a large amount of apps open and there's no issues. So you have nothing to worry about there. In terms of scores, you've got on Antutu, you've got 39,811. So, if we were to just maybe compare that to, say, the other device here, OnePlus One, which is what it's the competition for this device basically as another cheap flagship phone. So you can see the OnePlus One on the right and the Huawei on the left. So OnePlus One wins on score overall, but you can see here the Huawei wins on quite a bit of things as well. So it's it's no slouch itself. So a very good score there. As I said, you won't have any issues at all running games or apps. In terms of apps, provided on the phone by Huawei themselves, you've got your web browser. It's not too bad. It's not as good as Google Chrome. It's a little bit slow to scroll up and down, but it's not too bad overall. But nobody uses the inbuilt browser these days anyway. Everything else other than a kind of a file manager, it's fairly Spartan in terms of what you're getting, but that's okay, and that's probably a welcomed feature for anyone looking to buy a phone with a manufacturer's UI on board. So in addition to the Kirin 920 octa-core processor, it's got 3 gigabytes of RAM. And basically, this is kind of going to be going up against phones that are in the range of a Snapdragon 400 processor, that kind of price range. So it wipes the floor with the Snapdragon 400 processor. They're just not going to compete with this. The HTC Mini 2 is a good example. This completely blows it out of the water. So and for less money too. In terms of battery power, you've got a 31 milliamp battery. You're going to get with light to moderate use, you get 2 days out of that, no problem. But more likely, you're going to get a day to a day and a half. So nothing too amazing there. Just to go back again there to Teams. Teams are a big thing with this Huawei phone. So not so much these days on Androids, stock Androids, but you can change the theme. You can customize it, customize your lock screen, fonts, email tones. So you can go through all of that if you want, and just change how it looks. And you get a little preview here like this. Keep. And eventually it will apply that theme. And you get a slightly different looking. There's more themes to download. Nothing is too garish or offensive, so don't be worried about that. Moving on to the biggest letdown of the device is the 13 megapixel camera. It's just not very good. In daylight conditions, it's not too bad. It will take decent shots. It's not that quick, as you can see. It takes a bit of time to focus, and that's another aspect that is poor, is the autofocus. Especially at nighttime, it just doesn't seem to want to lock on to anything in particular, and you end up with kind of blurred shots. But overall, it's not too bad. There is a decent amount of settings here. You can go in, you can change things. annoyingly, again, the full megapixel count is only at a 4:3 resolution, whereas most people like 16:9 these days. So, consider that as well. Um, Overall, not too bad, but if you're looking for something that performs well in poorly lit conditions, this is not going to be the phone for you. Um, However, as an Android phone, it's brilliant. It runs beautifully, no slowdown, and you can do an awful lot worse for an awful lot more money looking out there on the market. So stay tuned to irelandstechnologyblog.com. Thanks.